Welcome, tape traders, and thank you for joining me on another edition of Tape Traders Guide in 90s Pro Wrestling. I am your host, JD Sloan. I am the owner-operator of WrestleTopia and WrestleTopia TV. And on today's episode, I'm going to play an interview that I did with Vic The Bruiser. This interview was done about a week ago, last Saturday or so, in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Great American Clash. So, just a little FYI, the interview was done in the locker room while everyone was getting dressed and going over their matches and everything. And so you can hear there's a lot of background noise. At one point, we have to pause it because Jim Cornette comes in to give a speech to the locker room. And, of course, we are not going to we're not going to continue to do the interview during that point. So we had to pause it. And then at another point, Michael St. John, if you know him from the Memphis territory, longtime Memphis announcer, he came over to say goodbye to us, and I don't think I paused it during that time, so you may hear there's a little bit of time with where we're saying goodbye, giving our goodbyes and everything. But I just wanted to preface that a little bit, just because it will be noisy. There may be times where you can't fully hear Vic for the best, just because a lot of people were talking and there was a lot going on. So it was an awesome interview. Vic was a guy that in the, I would say the mid to late 90s when I was tape trading, I would get tapes of stuff that he was on, and I just always remember thinking like his moniker was Vic the Bruiser, and he legit seemed like a scary dude. Like I just always remember thinking like he is a little bit crazy. This dude is probably a little bit nuts, and if you talk shit to him, he's gonna beat your ass. And so I always kind of thought about that, and he was always one of those people that just happened to be in a lot of the stuff that I would get before I ever even moved to this area. So it was great being able to sit down and talk to him. Luckily, I get to see him, pretty often and stuff. And so we were kind of talking about everything after I stopped the podcast when we were doing it, and I kind of said, hey, I do this series of interviews with Quentin Charisma where we kind of go step by step over his career, kind of year by year or month by month, year by year, however we land it in an hour and a half. But it's this, ongoing thing, this ongoing story of his career. And Vic is another one of those guys that, he has 20 plus years of stories of the business, and you can't get 20 plus years of stories in an hour. I think we had about 40 minutes, and which is great because I initially asked if I could just sit down and grab 20 minutes of his time, and we ended up doing 41 minutes worth of an interview. But obviously in 41 minutes you can't get 20 years. You can't get it in 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. It's just not possible. So I kind of asked him, would you be interested in doing more podcasts? Maybe we can do a couple here, a couple there. I will probably be seeing him, around once every 2 weeks, depending on his bookings and my bookings in Franklin. So, hopefully I can grab an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes here and there, every now and again. And we're just going to keep prying open his brain and grab a hold of all those old stories from, the 90s to the early 2000s and now right now. Because he's just got a lot of stories. He's got a lot of stuff. He's been a lot of places and worked with a lot of people and done a lot of things. And so, he's a very interesting person, very well spoken. I hope everyone enjoys this as much as I enjoyed sitting down and talking to him, because this was a really good episode, and Vic is a really interesting guy. And then also on the Quentin Charisma front, I just wanted to kind of throw this out there. Quentin is he's got his own podcast now on Anchor. So if you go on the Anchor app, which is a free app, you can look him up, and I believe you'll be able to find his podcast. But because of the change in my schedule and everything, it's becoming, each time that we have an opportunity to talk, it just gets a little bit farther and farther and farther. So I want to make sure that everyone gets their fill of Quentin Charisma. And just like I'm doing with the whole Wrestle Radio thing, where when I do the commentary at a show, I put it up there just as a free running uncut piece of audio. And then my brother, my little brother Hookah Matt, he's doing a little YouTube thing, and we're grabbing the audio of that and we're throwing it on there. That'll be like around once a month, once every 2 weeks or whatever. Which I want to sit down and do a thing with Matt on this as well. But just like that, I'm trying to add as many different original stories and content and individual pods as I possibly can onto this, because I figure, why not? I already pay for the time. Let's make the most of it. If I could have a new show uploaded every day, I would. So there's a possibility that Quentin may have his own time period, his own weekly show, or however often he wants to do it, where he can tell his own stories, and we'll throw it up there so that everyone gets much more Quentin charisma. I know that everyone loves listening to Quentin and all of his stories and his time in the business in the 90s and in Nashville and the cities and towns close by. So we're going to try and make that happen, and hopefully that all works out, and so everyone will get their Quentin charisma fill. So for now, I'm gonna play this interview, and again, I hope everyone enjoys it as much as I do, and hopefully we'll get a lot more Vic the Bruiser in the near future as well.
I'm an old school tape trader. That's like how I got into wrestling. I wasn't a fan of WWF. I wasn't a fan of WCW. Just happen chance, I started watching indie wrestling first, and trading tapes and all that kind of stuff. In the 90s. Yeah. So 97, 98, 99, you were a big part of that tape trading scene, because a lot of the shows that you were on just happened to be part of the tape trading community. You know what I mean? So what I kind of ask everyone is like, do you remember that moment that, whether it was something you watched, whether it was a magazine you read, what was it about that moment in wrestling that kind of
flip
that switch? Flip that switch.
To be honest with you, I've been asked this question a lot of times, and to be honest with you, it was my mom. Because she grew up in that era watching the Goulises,
the Fargos,
the
Greens,
all of them. And it was a ritual in our house. We would go to church on Sunday morning, and then as soon as church was over, we would beat it back to the house in time enough for Championship Wrestling on Channel 3. A lot of the younger people don't know what that is, but that was, to us, to me, that was my WWF, WWE, WCW. Because it had the stars like Jeff Jarrett, it had Tojo Yamamoto, Roughhouse Fargo, Jerry Lawler, Bill Dundee, the list goes on and on. But what really edged me into doing this was when they brought Randy Savage in.
For that Poffo feud.
I remember watching that video once I was a huge Kiss mark at the time, and they played War Machine, and I was like, wow. And here comes Savage with this big freaking boa around his neck, and I was like, I remember looking up at my mom and said, I'm going to be a wrestler. I know I probably can't be like him, but I'm going to get damn close to do it. And she said, oh boy, you crazy. And it took a while, but I got lucky, and I started training with Jeff Jarrett down at the fairgrounds. And it was like riding a bike.
Right.
I mean, it took, and I was like, oh wow, it was hard, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But then after Jeff left, and then his grandfather took it over, Eddie Marlin took it over, and I was going here, then I went down, and then my brother told me about Nightmare Danny Davis, which was also part of that whole Memphis Nightmares and everything. So then I went up and started working with him, and the rest was history.
So now, just off of my recollection, would this have been around 92, 93?
Yeah,
okay, 92. So 1992, you're doing your training, and these opportunities are coming apart. How did you, after your training was over, after you were graduated, so to speak, you're working probably your home territory, right? Your home promotion.
Yes.
How did you go about actually getting outside bookings? Because I always find that to be an interesting. So everyone has such a different way of going outside of their home territory.
See, the lucky thing for me was, there was a pecking order up there at Nightmare Company, which is now OVW. And once you earn that respect from your peers, Doug Basham was the one that took me on the road with him. And he said, kid, bring your bag. I guarantee you anything.
Right. But you're there.
Yeah. Just Central City.
Uh-huh.
It was Central City, Kentucky, for a promoter named Shelby Adcock. And he said, well, can the kid work? I said, yeah, he's good. I mean, he's still training, but he's good.
Yeah.
So they told me to get dressed, and I worked. I thought I was going to get the work done, but I wound up working Shelby's son, and next thing you know, I had a job.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute.
Return bookings.
Yeah. And then I said, well, I can't commit to anything because I'm still committed to Danny, and everything had to go through Danny. And I remember Shelby driving up to one of our Jeffersonville shows and was talking to Danny about me. Said I would like to bring him back in and use him on a regular basis. Danny gave me his blessing. Said, yeah, go ahead. I mean, I trust him, but his first priority is with my
Right. If I need him first, I'm going to use him. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we did it. Like I said, once you earn the respect of the locker room, and they seen that you wasn't a jack-off,
right,
they was willing to help you, take you on the road. Doug took me to Mississippi. Everywhere Doug was booked, he would take me.
Right. Yeah. So, as we jump ahead a little bit, I want to talk about like the 97, 98, the explosion of national wrestling. And so a lot of eyes are on wrestling. And at the same time, there's obviously a lot of extra eyes on independent wrestling just because the name wrestling.
It was doing good.
Everything was kind of up. Everything was up, which gave a lot of people a lot of extra opportunities.
Exactly.
What was it like during that time period, because it was kind of like the Wild West. I mean, literally in a way, you got everyone's driving up and down the roads. Social media was around, but it wasn't,
It wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah, so you could still get away with shit.
Yeah, you had to, you had to pick your spot.
Right.
And you didn't want to, you had to be careful when you picked that spot. But, I would say it was probably 96, downtown Bruno.
Uh-huh.
He got me some gigs with the WWF. At the time, then that's when they had jobbers.
Right.
They used job guys. Well, enhancement
Right.
talent. I ain't using the word job.
Yeah.
But enhancement talent. And I think the first show I did was close to my hometown in Louisville, Kentucky. And I got to carry out King Mabel.
Oh, wow.
I was part of that whole King Mabel entourage.
Yeah.
And a funny story, when we was carrying him out, Mabel was standing up, and I was like, oh, shit. And Mo was standing in front of us and said, don't you laugh. I remember looking at Mo and said, man, you better tell your boy to shut his big ass down before he falls. This was live TV now. Uh-huh. And I was like, we got him up to the thing, and then we went back to the back, and all the boys was back and said, dude, do you realize you was on live TV when you said that? Really? Yeah. Man, don't be surprised if Vince don't come back here and get your ass for saying that. So I'm sitting back there in the back, and here comes Vince. I was like, oh, here it comes. He walked right past me, like I wasn't even there. And I was like, phew. But the next night we was doing it again, that's when he looked at me and smiled and went on. I'm like, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? It's like, you're all right. If he looked at you and smiled, you was all right. But, I did that for 6 months. And then at the Kiel Auditorium, I got to work Waylon Mercy. And the way that come about was the kid that he was initially going to work screwed up his finish. It was a simple finish. He would always do the drop the rope on the guy's throat. Put him in the middle of 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back there. I'd already did the spot with Mabel and them, and I'm just sitting back here. You always had to stay dressed. So next thing you know, Waylon Mercer come back, Dan Spivey come back, he's kicking shit like that stupid fucking kid. And Hefner said, Lewis, go over there and Spivey. And I sat there and he said, look, all you gotta do is
just go up.
Just go out there and then when I do this, boom, I'll pull you out in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, I'll pick you up and I'll clothesline.
Yeah.
Can you do that? Yes, sir. Went out there, I still scared the shit. I was scared to death. And I went out there and he did the thing, come to the finish. He did the thing, pulled me out, 1, 2, 3. Did the old Waylon Mercer thing, shook my hand and did the shit out of it. They helped me to the back. He come back to the back. He said, thank you very much.
Yeah.
You got a clue.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I was still nervous. And it actually got me a bump in what we was guaranteed. Plus I got a little bump on
that. That
was a plus right there. But that was a whole different working, being enhancement talent for the WWF, which I should say WWE because I don't want nobody to get in trouble. It was a unique experience because I'd worked with a lot of their guys
before
in the Memphis area, like Sid Vicious. You know, that's who I hung out with when I was there. I stayed around Sid and everything like that because I felt comfortable around him. But I got to do that, and then I got to work with the Smoking Guns in a match there for Wrestling Challenge. One of their
syndicated.
But for the most part, I was just there to do the thing with Mo and Mabel. But those opportunities come up, and I was right there for them.
Well, so what would you say out of, it's 2018, what would you say is the biggest difference? You from the 90s to the early 2000s to now we're in the 2020s almost, what would you say is the biggest change in the business? Because there's so much less TV. No one is learning promo style. No one is learning where the hard camera is or how to do this. A lot has really changed. There's a ton of independence still. They're still everywhere, but you're not doing the same thing.
I guess you could say that the guys now, they don't have the resources, or they won't view the resources like I had to. See, it was drilled into us.
Right.
If whatever character you was going to be, Danny said, go watch this person.
Right.
Or, watch how he walks to the ring. Watch how he cuts a promo. But like you said, no one does that anymore.
Right.
And there's not enough real veterans left that can teach these guys how to walk to the ring. When you're a heel, you don't go around the ring. You get out, you make an L, you get up in the ring.
Right.
Baby faces, they go around the ring slapping.
Right.
But there's nobody here to teach the newer guys that. And then I think a lot of the guys now, they're the Ring of Honor marks. I don't have nothing against Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
But that's not wrestling.
Right.
Wrestling is telling a story. Nobody knows how to tell a story anymore.
Right.
It's how many high spots can I get in? How many oohs and ahs can I get? When back in the day, you got your oohs and ahs off of the finish.
Right.
The simple scoreboard, the place with a run. You pull that shit now, they shit on you.
Right.
This is boring. No, this is wrestling.
Yeah.
This is the way it's supposed to be. Those guys up there, they're acrobats. But they're talented.
Yeah.
They're very talented.
There's no lack of talent.
But they don't know how to tell a story.
Right.
I mean, that's...
People are not invested in the match. They're invested in the moves.
That's it.
Yeah.
And, I was watching, I think Monday night, I was watching the match between Seth Rollins and the guy that comes out with, see, I don't know how, it comes out with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a match.
Right.
But it was all about how many, big
Yeah.
impact moves.
Yeah.
And you could hear the crowd going, oh, dude. It didn't mean anything.
Right.
I'm more impressed with the smacking of the leg. They're not invested in.
Right.
There's no story being told.
Yeah.
They're just there for the match.
Right.
And that's what our business has turned to. That's what I talked to James Carver about it. I talked to Damian Wayne about it. Me and Chase talks about it every time he's in the locker room. Nobody's invested in what we do.
Right.
There's no more old school heels. There's no more old school baby faces.
Right.
I mean,
Everybody wants to be cool. Everyone. Yeah.
There's no more. Everybody can't be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
Everybody can't be Shawn Michaels. Can't be Triple H. Can't be The Undertaker.
Right.
You have to develop your own personality.
Yeah.
And that's what got guys like me over. Guys like Derek Neal. Guys like Chase Stevens. Andy Douglas. They was a brand and they made it. Because the people was like, oh shit, these guys are good.
Yeah.
This was before all the big explosions,
Yeah.
smacking and all of that. Because these guys worked.
Right.
They knew how to tell a story. Guys don't know how to tell a story.
Yeah. I was trained by Steve Dahl and Reno Riggins. And one of the stories, one of my first classes, Steve Dahl, because I was a kid, and so I went in there like I want to learn how to do a moonsault, and I want to do this, and because I just wanted to do everything. I wanted to do everything,
You probably told your kid learn how to do an arm bar.
Well, the first thing he did is Reno put me in the sugar and passed me out. But Steve would tell me, he'd be like, man, sometimes all I got to do is pick someone out, stare at them. That's it. And they go so crazy. At first, they don't know what I'm staring at. And then as the match goes on, they start getting mad. They start getting angry.
You didn't have to say anything.
And I haven't done anything but stare. And that's all I've done. And now I've got this person in the crowd so mad, so angry.
And you ain't even done
And
nothing.
he ain't done nothing. Yeah.
I was trying to tell a young man this the other night. I'm like, why did you yell at that little kid for? You're never going to see that kid.
Right.
You got pie face. You're mad. The baby faces out there that caused it. Why would you yell at that kid? You shouldn't be taking your aggressions out on that baby face.
Right.
I worked with Rip for years. Rip could take a straw and cause a damn near riot. A straw. And all he would do is reach down in his tights, look around, pull it out so the fans can see it. And he may not use it, but the fans knows it's there.
Right. And they don't even know what it is.
Exactly.
Right.
And he would always go to his tights, and the people would go nuts. Nobody wants to do that anymore. Everybody wants to be
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
His mother says, you do this, I'll do that. It's simple.
Yeah.
The guys makes it complicated.
Yeah.
This business is not complicated.
They're overthinking everything. They're trying to put too much stuff in, thinking they have to.
They're worried about getting their gimmick over. The fans is what gets your gimmick over.
Right.
Vic The Bruiser wouldn't be over without the fans.
Right.
The fans that boo me, the fans that cheer me, they're the ones who got me over.
Right.
It wasn't me.
Right.
Because I went out there and did what the promoter asked me to do. Vic, go out there and be a no-count bastard. That's what I did. And it regulated to the fans.
Right.
Whether I pulled out the donut hole or I gouged him in the throat, that's what invested the people. Guys today, they're too busy wanting to impress the guys in the back. They don't want to impress the fans.
Right.
And I'm like, why are you worried about what the guys in the back care about your match? They're the ones that's buying the tickets. We're going to be here.
Right.
I could care less if you could do 15 moonsaults. I could care less if you could do backs your leg.
Right.
But if those people here don't give a shit about you, they're not going to come back.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I had OVW. One of the times that I went back, I had a guy come up to me and says, "How come you're so old?" Well, let's see here. For 20 plus years, this was my area. These fans know me. They know what I can do. They know what I'm about. I could go out there and just put my hands down in my pocket or in my tights and these people go crazy.
Right.
You guys go out there and you're busy worried about popping you guys in the back. That's not what this is about. It's about getting those people to come back.
Right.
I mean, they forget.
And it's like no one knows if you keep teasing a high spot the whole match and you can't never get it, or every time that you tease it, you come and you stop it. At the very end of the match, that one high spot, oh shit, all of a sudden. Yeah, yeah.
We've been waiting for.
You've been stroking them. You've been stroking them all night long, and you finally let them pop. Yeah.
They don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
But I blame that on the guys that sit in the ring with the kids that say,
Just letting it happen.
"Oh, okay, you want to hit me with this and this and this." But listen to the people.
Right.
Crickets.
Right.
I said, well, I always tell everybody, I said, well, I want to do this, this, this. Okay, let me ask you a question. We go out there and do all of that. What if the people don't come? Oh, they will.
Oh, you're right.
But what if they don't?
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, they will. Okay. We went out there and did this man. He got all this shit in. He was like, I don't hear anything.
And now you don't know what. Now you don't know what to do. Yeah. Yeah.
What do we do? I'm just gonna beat your ass.
Which brings, that's another question. Like, do you like to talk about your match beforehand? Because
No.
I know it's a weird thing when I talk to people that were, let's say 1995 and before. Whole different concept of working compared to after that, where it's like, all right, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, but it's like what you just said. What happens if it doesn't get over?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, that was drilled into me. Cause, I was like, okay, what are we gonna do? What do you mean, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? I'm gonna call it out there in the ring.
Right.
I don't know how to do that. Oh, well, you're in trouble.
Right. The only thing you need to know is the finish.
That's it.
And even sometimes then, it doesn't matter.
You'd be surprised. And if you ask some of the young guys here, what is Shakespeare? They don't know what that is.
Right.
Because we did it one night. I was at a show in Scottsburg, Indiana. And there was a bunch of guys around. Me and Hot Chocolate Corey Williams. We was on the car. And he said, Vic, watch this. I said, okay. He said, all right. How many of y'all know what Shakespeare is? It looked like deers in a headlight. They was like, and I never would have been. She's probably going to kill me.
Yeah, I'll pause it. It's about to have a meeting. We'll pause.
Okay.
All right, we had a Jim Cornette moment, and so I thought that we should best just pause the
Oh, yeah, it's
podcast.
Jim Cornette. Don't interrupt Mr. Cornette.
An old friend. Hey,
Michael St. John. Hey, if you look great.
Thank you. You did the same.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you.
It's great seeing you, man.
Oh, the best. I'm sorry,
Oh, no. Yeah. We're talking old school wrestling, so.
Hey, that's all I know. God bless.
Good seeing you.
All right, bye-bye.
Good seeing you. So we were talking about just the change in mentality of you've got to know everything you're going to do before you ever go out there, and then all of a sudden it just bombs, but you don't know how to change that.
Yeah, I mean, and these kids don't understand that when it flops and the real heels, get on and start beating the shit out of them, they don't understand
Right.
why you doing this. Because you didn't listen. All we need is the finish. The rest, listen to the crowd. Corey's got the best saying. Why do you want to go out there and give them a whole bunch of stuff? They may only want bacon and eggs.
Right.
They may want pancakes. They may want, some may want steak.
Right.
But if you
don't got to give
read
them the
that
whole buffet.
Exactly. Don't give it all to them in one night. Don't give it all to them in one match.
Right.
Give them a little bit. Make them come back. No one does it. Everybody wants to get all their shit in right now.
Yeah.
Then what are you going to do next week?
Right.
You got everything in tonight. What are you going to do next week?
Well, if you're like James Carver, you only know 5 things, so you got to put it all in there all at one time. But yeah, you're right. I mean, because you're trying to put everything into one single match, and then the next match, it's the same shit. It's the exact same thing.
Well,
You're gonna fool them all.
This goes back to the whole me and Tracy Smothers. Me and Tracy Smothers in 2000, I'm gonna say maybe 2005. We did 100 fair shows for a promotion called Bad to the Bone Wrestling. The promoter was Joe Bailey. We worked that whole fair tour.
Whoa,
we did the same match every show. We was in E-Town. We did 2 nights in E-Town, and then the next night we was going to be in like Hart County. Well, Hart County was just like 30 minutes down the road. So I'm sitting there. I was the baby face. Tracy was the heel. I'm listening to Tracy.
Right.
I said, Tracy, what are we going to do if the fans from
Yesterday
comes here? Don't worry about it. We got it. We got our You know how Tracy is. We got this. We got this. You gonna like it. I gonna like it. We got it.
Did he give you a half-eaten protein bar from underneath the seat?
No.
Because if you're hungry, he's got one.
So we went out there, and I never will forget. We did the same spiel. He was denouncing his Southern heritage. We had a little manager called Don Marone. And he was from Puerto Rico, had the Puerto Rico flag. Tracy went out and said, you know something? You Southern people make me sick. I'm denouncing my Southern heritage. Took off his rebel jacket, threw it down, kicked it. And he looked at me and said, what are you going to do? Now, this is the South now, okay? So I walk over, I pick up the jacket. You can hear a cricket go across the grass. They was like, what is this thing?
Right, yeah.
So I put it on and strutted. The place went nuts. Me and Tracy did the same match down. The finish was the beginning, and the beginning was the finish.
Right.
People didn't know any difference.
Right.
We went into it the same way. We did everything. But we did 100 shows like it. I don't think nobody here could do that. Guys today couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because they're worried about, but it's the same match. People don't know this is the same match. If you switch it up.
Right.
Just switch it up. But nobody knows how to do that.
Right.
And there's nobody teaching them how to do that.
That's because they're talented enough.
There's all kinds of young talent out there. But there's nobody there to
Right.
to spread that little, spread the knowledge on them. So you ain't got to go out there and do 15,000 high spots.
Right.
You don't have to do 15,000 elbow smashes. Just one.
Right.
Because if you do it right, that heel's going to bump and he's going to sell it.
Right. And nowadays you have, a carload is 6 of the same experience level people all kissing each other's asses on the moves they're doing, instead of Tracy grabbing 2 people and driving and doing 100 shows.
Exactly.
And where you got a guy that's 30 years in the business telling you and explaining to you how important these things are. Instead, you got 4 of the exact same people all congratulating each other for their Huracan runs.
Oh man, I seen that move you did. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But did the people think it was phenomenal?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Do you think that it can? I mean, I'm a firm believer that you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube.
No.
But I do believe you can cap it. That's what I believe. I believe that you can cap it, and that deep down inside, wrestling fans, they still want to pretend. They want to go to a show, and I see this all the time, especially here in this territory. A lot of the Tennessee area is still. Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, it still has those companies and those older school wrestlers who are still kind of doing the same thing, and you have those fans that are coming, and they know what's up. But you hear them when they're walking outside, and they're like, man, I think I don't know what just happened right there, but I kind of think maybe something happened in the ring. One of them got pissed at the other one, and boy, he really kicked his ass. I believe that the fans want to still believe.
But what are you going to do? Are you going to have DW, Vic The Bruiser work every night at
Right,
this place?
right.
Are you going to have Mr. USA and James Carter work every
Right.
night? Are you going to have Chase Stevens and Eric Andrews work every night?
Right.
Of course, we know how to make the
Right.
people believe with just facial expressions. That's another thing that the guys don't know how to do. Facial expressions.
Right.
Baby faces. They don't know how to sell up and let the people watch their pain.
Right.
They want to stay buried. No, let the people see.
They don't want to look weak.
But you're in the wrong business.
Right.
I mean,
Doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
I'm not going to make you look weak.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just making me look like a supreme badass because you're laying like yours covered up.
Getting your ass kicked.
Instead of like,
Yeah.
reaching out for the fans.
Right, right.
Jimmy Valiant wasn't the best worker in the world.
Right.
But my God, he can sit there and daddy, shake his legs
And as he's moving, they're getting louder and louder and louder, and all of a sudden, their passion, their applause is bringing him to his feet. Yeah.
Yes, Hogan, not the most talented individual.
Right.
But when you saw him go, and do all of that, he engaged the people. The
Right.
people were there. No one does that. No one wants to do that. Like you said, they don't want to look weak.
Yeah.
Make me look weak. Hey, I'll reach out for that fan to help me get up and look.
Because when you come back,
when you make that comeback,
it's them. They're coming back with you.
Yes. I mean, but I blame the promoters also.
Because they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care.
All they care about is, okay, let's see here. Okay, a little bit for the boys. All of this for me.
Yeah.
Here's the boys. This is me. No,
And
no,
don't forget about Facebook likes. They're looking for the Facebook likes too.
This is that's the worst thing that ever happened to this is fucking Facebook. Oh, I gotta like this guy. I see this guy pictures and everything like that. Don't get me wrong, Facebook is good.
It's a tool.
It's a tool. I mean, it's like
a single
anything
tool.
else. But this is the thing I always ask the guys. You're working, if me and you's working the same show, and we're in the main event, I'm the big bad heel, and you're the most over babyface. We sitting here taking selfies with each other, putting it out there. How is the fan supposed to feel about it?
Right.
Wait a minute. These guys are supposed to be hated enemies, but they're sitting poolside taking selfies.
You don't even let the fans pretend. You don't even let them buy into it.
No.
You stop it from the get-go.
Yes. I remember, it goes back to the old Memphis territory. I remember we was driving my car, Doug Basham, may his soul rest in peace, Buddy Landell. They threw me in the back of my car. We get close to the Mid-South Coliseum, you gotta get out. What do I gotta get out? This is my car. It doesn't matter. You gotta get out. 2 baby faces, 1 heel.
Right.
And I'm like, I was pissed. I said, but this is my car. They're kicking me out of my own car. So I get my shit. I'm walking up the thing. And as soon as I got through the gates, they're like, oh, you dirty son of a bitch. You gonna get yours tonight. Blah, blah, blah. It clicked. I got it.
Right.
Protect the business.
Yeah.
Kayfabe. You can't let the heels be seen driving into Mid-South Coliseum with the babyface.
Right.
It clicked. I'm like, wow, now I get it. But nobody, the guys, they don't care.
Right.
They'll click, oh yeah, selfie. And they wonder why our business is in such a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's up, and sometimes it's down, and then it starts getting right here, and then it just.
Yeah.
It never gets back up to where it was. I've been asked, do you think this business will ever make a comeback? Frank Morrell said, I remember Frank Morrell said, he said, don't worry about it, kid. It'll come back. I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Vince and them's not doing good.
Yeah.
They got to do good so the indies can do good. Think about it. When the Monday Night Wars was going on, independent wrestling was drawing 200 people. Or
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
As soon as he got the monopoly on everything, independence went downhill.
Right. Right.
I don't care if you got the Derek Neals on there. I don't care if you got the Chris Michaels on there. I don't care if you got the Chase Stevens. I don't care if you got the Vic The Bruiser, the James Carter, the Mr. USAs. If the big time guys ain't doing good, we're not going to do good.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's economics.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ford Motor Company is booming with their product line, and Chevy's starting to do, decent.
Right. All those mechanics.
Yeah.
They're going to do great
Exactly.
business.
But if Ford starts slumping and Chevy starts slumping, what happens?
Yeah.
No
one's buying cars, and then no one's buying all the things that go with the cars.
It's just like wrestling.
Yeah.
If Vince can't get the people occupied in his stuff, what makes you think we going to get the fans into our stuff?
Right.
It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, it's that's what you gotta beat into these younger guys. Don't be stuck on yourself.
Right.
Because you can be replaced at a moment's notice.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one of the things that was drove into me. Look, here's the thing. Don't ever be secure in a spot because there's somebody out there much hungrier than you.
Right.
If you don't want to do what the promoter wants, he's going to call that guy that's going to come in and do. He may take less money.
Right. Yeah.
But he's going to come in and do what he wants. That's why everybody, at 51 years old, I'm still probably the most booked guy in Kentucky.
Right.
Because if they need Vic to do something, Vic's going to do it.
You're going to do your job.
I'm going to do whatever's asked. If you need me to work heel, I can work heel. If you need me to work babyface, I can work babyface. You got guys now that don't want to do that.
Yeah.
That was another thing. Rick told me, he said, look, you have got to be able to work both ways. Because you may have to go in there and put a piece of shit heel over that's supposed to be the baddest guy in the world.
Right.
You have to go in there and put this guy over and make him look like $1 million. Or you got to go in and make his babyface look like $1 million. Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
And there's another problem. If you're set on one thing, you can't grow.
Right.
You can't grow.
Yeah.
I mean, basketball players, if you're only used to blocking shots and they throw you the ball, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm only supposed to block shots.
Right.
No, you got to be able to shoot that shot.
Yeah.
It's just like if you go to a promotion, if you're running a promotion, you say, Vic, I need for you to come in and work this guy here. He's the drizzle and chips, but I trust that you can get him where he needs to be at. No problem. What do you want for a finish? Can you slide him over? No problem. I'm going to go out there and do that.
Right.
It's real simple.
Right.
I'm not going to say, I should go over. It's not my call.
Yeah.
It's not my call. I'm not going to politic and cry and bitch and moan.
Right.
I'm going to do what that promoter says. That's why I've got longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, and once again, that's what's missing. That's what's missing.
Yeah.
We don't have the longevity. We don't have the longevity guys anymore.
Yeah. Well, Vic, I appreciate your time, man. I'm gonna let you get dressed so you can go out there and make your money and do your job like we're talking about. And right now I'm doing like this ongoing series with Quentin Charisma, and we're kind of going from the '90s and just kind of year by year of his career and stuff. You know, I would love to come back and kind of do maybe the same thing with you. You know, we could just kind of, because, you know, like I said, man, I watched wrestling when I was a kid. The very first thing I can remember watching was the 1988 Royal Rumble. And I liked wrestling, but I wasn't really, I didn't watch it on TV. I didn't buy the action figures. I didn't read the magazines. I just knew of it. I wasn't like a wrestling fan. I just knew what it was. And by just happen chance, man, I'm from the West Coast. I'm not from this part of the country. By happen chance, I got the internet in 1992. And I just happened to find a tape list. There's all these different things I've never heard of, you know, and so it kind of sparked my interest. I started buying VHS tapes of Japanese wrestling, Mexican wrestling, Memphis wrestling, Philadelphia, you know, and all of a sudden, man, it's like, I don't know, it's this addiction. It did. And so it wasn't, and I watched, you know, WWF, I watched WCW, I watched everything, especially as a teenager and everything like that. But it was independent wrestling, especially 90s independent wrestling, that grabbed a hold of me.
Wrestling, independent wrestling, you know, like I said, you had the Shelly Adcons, you had the Danny Fargos, damn man that ran Bowling Green and Georgetown, you had Ron Stars that ran, you know, from Lexington on, old school promoter. They knew how to, you know, some of the names they come up with was like, this ain't gonna draw, and you go out there, you're like, oh my God.
I mean, and you're still running in a territory way. You have local TV stations.
You was able to switch. You was able to, you know, okay, if you had somebody and I had somebody, you could do tongue swap.
Yeah.
You know, that's what made the territory so great. Everybody talent swapped.
Right.
Now everybody's got this, well, you can't go away from this.
Right.
How am I supposed to? I don't care about you. You gotta stay right. Don't worry like that. But yeah, no, I mean, it's the 90s was great, and I remember Danny telling me, he said, you broke in too late. He said you would have been a millionaire by the time you was called.
Vic The Bruiser in 1984 Memphis? Oh boy. You taking on Lawler in the Mid-South? Oh man.
When Danny told me that, I was like, oh wow. That's for Danny to say that just made me like, shit, awesome. But yeah, I would love to do that.
You know, I'll see you once every. I think once every 2 weeks here coming up over the next point of time, and so every time we can just kind of talk about something else. You know, whatever. Think about what you want to talk about. You know, and then we'll pop in and we'll kind of throw down for 45 minutes.
I'll tell you what. The first thing we'll do is I'll tell you how I become Vic The Bruiser.
Okay.
That's a story in itself, and you'll pop off of it. And the people listening to this will pop off.
We'll do that, and I'm gonna let you get dressed and let you get ready, man. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate it.